sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Son Ranto, Son Ranto, Son Ranto and the lovable losers. Son Ranto, Son Ranto, Son Ranto and the lovable losers. Son Ranto.
What's up, everybody? Cubs win tonight. It is May 15th, and we're coming off a Cubs victory over the Atlanta Braves. My name is Captain Danny Rocket. The voice you just heard screaming in your ear was Michael Cubes fan Cotton, and Infield Flag Girl should be here very shortly. This is Son Ranto Show doing a post game tonight, and I realized, I saw that our old co-host Crawley is actually live right now on his own show by himself. And that's why I want to say, Michael, I'm freaking touched that you're here with me. I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
Doing it alone is tough. We do the Cubs pods every day, and that's a lot harder to do than having a person to talk to, for sure.
I don't know. All I do is walk around the cemetery and bitch around about the Cubs. It's pretty easy for me, my friend. Yell
at people on bicycles and.
No, you hear that today?
Cars are honking at you. I heard it.
Like, screw you, buddy. I'm walking here. It is true. Like, that's what happened at today's Cubs pod because I did it outside. Anyway, this is the Son Ranto Show. Infield Flag Girl is going to be by in a second. If, you're wondering where she is, she will be by soon. We're just kind of on a weird schedule. We usually go Thursdays, and it's Wednesday. And sorry if that confused everybody.
And there was a Cubs game tonight, so we wanted to go after the game. And we thought the game would probably go till about 9:30, but of course it's the pitch clock era. And what was the game tonight? 2:48, 2:49, something.
And the Cubs put up a lot of runs too. So normally, like 3 years ago, this game goes 4 hours easily. There's 17 pitching changes. Somehow a fan runs on the field naked. There's no time for that kind of shenanigan anymore.
Nope.
Let me ask you, if only one fan runs on the field, is that a shenanigan? And if two fans run on the field, that's shenanigans? And how's that? Or is a shenanigan actually the plural?
I think shenanigans is
the word.
Is the word. It's both.
There's no singular shenanigan.
Right, because I think that, you could say, well, it's only one guy, it's just a shenanigan, but then you start to bring everybody else in, right? The people who have to chase him down, the players who are...
Now you got shenanigans.
Now you got shenanigans.
And if it happens twice in the game, it's a shenanigan again. Sorry.
That was a long way for that joke.
I know. And I was waiting for just at least 8 seconds to tell that one. All right, so this has been brought to you by the Fans First Network, which hosts the Bleacher Bunch, which has a bunch of great shows like Cup of Cubby Blue, and our friend Mike Waller, who does Cubs Pod with us for the Patreon people, which you should be. And he's the host of the Cubs PS Plus podcast, also on the Bleacher Bunch Network. It's also especially brought to you by our 109 Patreon supporters. Thank you to Lexi, who joined on this month at the Tommy Listella $2 level. Go to patreon.com/sonranto if you'd like to support the show. And of course, our super duper ranters, Blake Beard and his amazing tickets. And he's doing that giveaway still. We've got a while to I'm going to drop the link in the chat again.
Yeah, we've got till July 14th, I think.
Yeah, until they do the drawing, but he's only got 11 contestants right now. So you basically, for $10, you have a 1 in 11 chance of winning box seats right behind home plate for the Cubs game on a Friday afternoon. Rogue Wave Creative also supports us, and Mike Waller and the Cubs PS Plus podcast. We'd like to especially thank our Patreon prize supporters. Our Patreon prize of the month sponsors who support the Son Ranto Show, especially in the clutch shirts. Check out my in the clutch tonight. I went with an old school one. It's the stack or die.
Yep, you got the stack or die. I got the Shy Feds.
Nice. So, and I've got really exciting news tonight. 10% off with code Sunranto, by the way, at In the Clutch shirts. But we're working on the Matt Kammerer t-shirt for Ranterfest. Matt Kammerer art. Check this sucker out. I'm so excited. I think it'll be for sale tomorrow. I was hoping for tonight, but we couldn't get it done. Check this out. Ranterfest, the poster on a shirt, a navy blue shirt sold by In the Clutch. So you know it's quality. I freaking love this thing. It will be for sale soon, tomorrow. So look for it. I was hoping tonight, as I said, but I can't
That's
wait.
a good looking shirt.
And these
Definitely
will
going to
only,
get one of those.
yeah, and these will only be available until Ranterfest is over. I can't imagine a lot of people are going to want to buy a Ranterfest shirt a month after Ranterfest anyway. But anyway, these will be available really for the next 2 weeks, and all of the money, all of the profit from these shirts is going to go to the Lost Boys. Every single dime is going to the Lost Boys. And if you don't know about Ranterfest yet, what have you been living under a rock? Well, we're doing that on May 31st, June 1st, and June 2nd. Go to sunranto.com/ranterfest and get all the information. But we've sold the Ranter hat, dude. And look at this. First $200 to Lost Boys is going to come from the Ranterfest hat. And this was sold through Custom Ink. We sold 14 hats. That raised $200, and everybody's going to be, or 14 people are going to be dressed in Ranter hats, including me, because I bought one.
Nice.
So thank you to everybody that helped out there. That's the first $200 for Ranterfest right there.
I did not buy one. I was kind of waiting to find out if we needed somebody to buy something at the end, because I have like 30 hats now. I have gone on, like, I'm trying not to buy hats. And every time I'm out, I was just at a Cedar Rapids Colonels game. Like 4 different hats in there. I'm like, ooh, I want that one. I want that one. It's getting out of hand.
You know, men with ball caps is really kind of like women with purses, and all men and women are both as eccentric about shoes. We're all a bunch of little Imelda Marcoses. There's your dated reference for the evening. But remember that she had like 35,000 pairs of shoes or something, and all the people in the Philippines are starving, and Imelda Marcos just walking around in a different pair of shoes every 3 seconds.
I know, like she had so many shoes she couldn't wear them all.
Yeah, no,
there was no possible way she would die.
Well, speaking of hats, you see, I got a new hat. It's not a new hat. It's actually a different captain's hat I now own too.
Oh, Jesus. See, this is how we end up with so many hats.
Well, see, what I wanted to do this time, and I'll show you, this is only, I used, what are those, the hanging strips to put this on. And so I wasn't sure that I wanted to do it like this. So I just put it on with those picture hanging strips. And but the idea was if I did this Velcro, that I could have the removable patch. So you could just put multiple patches on the same captain's hat, and it's just like the one hat can be multiple hats. So that's what I'm going for. And this is one of the things we're doing at Ranterfest. I saw that Bernie Barron will be unveiling her creation for the Project Warning track at Ranterfest, as will your wife, Emily.
Yes, Emily has made the ultimate bleacher seat out of a jersey and a pair of pants and some old style koozies. Like it's cool.
Yeah, no, dude, I love the creativity that's coming out of people. I kind of looked back at that thread on our Discord channel and saw some of the stuff like the dress that was made. I'm going to look at it right now. IFG, first of all, who will be by in a second, she made that incredible cloak. I've got a cape coming to stick. I'm looking up the what is it?
Yeah. What?
I'm looking up the I can't
Project Warning track.
Oh, it's under contest. Yeah, we have too many things in this thing.
Yeah, well,
I'm always confused.
Yeah, she's got a cloak. Artie Boucher did a vest with like a bunch of like concealed inside pockets, so you can sneak all your shit into the game.
I love that. And then, it was Jeff and Cubs Magic Number. His wife made a dress out of a Dansby Swanson jersey.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to crown a winner. The Mike Talkman signed jersey is up for grabs right now. And so we
Speaking of
should do it
Mike
by
Talkman,
applause.
speaking of Mike Talkman,
Yeah.
a good night finally.
Yeah, first pitch of the game out of the park. But first, before we get into that, though, I do have to say hashtag chance in the chat. David Elliott's doing it. Mr. Fourth Row, Artie Boucher's doing it. Carrie Meyer's doing it. She's going to be at Ranter Fest. So is David Elliott. I hope Artie Boucher somehow gets out an airplane and comes out there. That'd be awesome to see him. It's been a while. And yeah, let's talk about tonight. This is a Cubs show. 12 minutes in, and we forgot our most important thing. What you drinking, Michael? We were going to talk about the Cubs, but look, I'm actually drinking a beer tonight.
Well, see, you've got the NA there, the athletic, non-alcoholic. Which version is that? What's the flavor?
Just a Run Wild IPA. Kind of gives me a little bit of a bitter grapefruity flavor.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I'm rocking the Coors Edge. I'm also going non-alcoholic tonight.
Nice.
So,
it's really incredible how NAs have taken off in the last couple of years. I mean, I just think everybody got too drunk during COVID, and they're like, all right. that's enough of that. I've gone too far. I know that's what happened to me, so I assume that happened to everybody else, right?
Right. Yeah, well, we're all getting older, and all of us that were drinking all those beers, because really it's the Gen X of our era, like when all those microbrews started to come out in like the late 90s. And we all just got hammered on very high alcohol, good IPAs and reds and all types of different ales and stuff. And I think now we're all right around 50, and we're like, I would like this a lot more if I could wake up in the morning and not feel dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true. I had my 50th birthday on Sunday, and happy Mother's Day to everybody. And thanks for everybody that wished me happy birthday. It made me feel very loved that day. But, I didn't drink. I just hung out, had a few NAs, and I went to bed at 11:30. I woke up at 7 and practiced piano. Like, it was just like exactly what I wanted my 50th birthday to be, and not at all like my 40th birthday. Let me tell you that much, where I woke up with no pants and I think a half-eaten burrito next to my head. So hashtag chance in the chat, and you can win this Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. I'll also have these at Ranter Fest to give out for free. So come on by along with these awesome wristbands. I can't wait till everybody's wearing these, and we could all be in a cult. Oh, wait, did I say that out loud? So let's talk about tonight's game. That's small. That's hard to read. Hope you're on a big screen. Cubs win 7-1. Javier Assad dominant again, now in the top 5 in qualified pitching leaders for ERA. And up there with Imanaga, by the way, who's number 2, I believe.
And look, this was the Braves these last 3 games. Imanaga started it off, Assad finished it, and that's a really good offensive team. If they have problems, it's in their pitching. It's not in their offense. They are crushing the ball. And yet Imanaga went 5 innings. He battled to get through 5, but he made it through 5 with no runs. And then Assad getting through 6 with no runs. Like, what great performances by what I have to assume right now that's our 1 and 2.
Yeah,
right?
It has been, because we saw Steele against Skeens this weekend, which we'll get to in a little bit. But he's working his way back from that injury. Still made a couple of mistakes in that game. That game was insane.
Yeah, it was.
But we'll get to that. We can't do the show and not talk about that crazy ass game. But tonight, let's start there. I mean, first pitch of the game. Cubs haven't scored in 2 days. Mike Tauchman's like, screw that. I'm going to hit a home run.
Mike Tauchman has been knocked down in the lineup here for the last week or so, week and a half. He's been lower in the lineup. And I don't know. We talk all the time about where these guys are at, whether or not Ian Happ is good at leadoff or if he can do it or whatever. Well, Mike Tauchman seems to not be as good when he's lower in the lineup. Hey, IFG has popped in. She's behind the graphic.
Yeah, I'll remove the graphic so we can say hi to IFG. Hi, welcome.
Hello. Sorry, I'm late.
No, you're fine. I mean,
slow.
you're on the West Coast. It's still yesterday there, I think.
Something like that.
Did you know that the Cubs won today?
I did. They won. They won when I was on the bus. It was very exciting. Saya got a home run for the first time since I don't know.
He was
sometime
hurt
in the middle of last year. I'm not sure. No, it was like April.
Well, it finally came together for him because Saya and I've been noting him. I've been watching, and it's like he's hitting the ball. He's hitting all the time.
Sure.
Very hard. It's just the wrong angle, the wrong spot in the field, and he's just making lots of loud outs. So tonight, to finally see that one get, 3 rows in like left center was great. Like, I'm sure that just a load off of his shoulders.
Absolutely. And that just had to feel good,
Yeah, he had an 0 for 5 the other day where I think the average hit off his bat was over 100 or at least in the high 90s and just kept hitting it out after out after out. And by the way, did you hear the new freaking bat speed stat that everybody's freaking...
I'm very excited about this.
Oh, God.
Well, at least one of us is.
Yeah.
Well,
that makes
the
one
other
of us.
two are like, the bat's fast.
So the thing is that bat speed is one of the people who train baseball players, right? There are 3 things that you can train a hitter to do. You can't really train a hitter not to think and hit at the same time. Like, that has to come from within. But the things that you can train them to do is swing decisions, bat to ball skills, and bat speed. So that's something that you can measure, that you can be like, okay, we need to hit the ball faster, because if the ball is going faster, then the physics, I didn't take physics, I'm not math smart, but the physics say that if the bat is traveling faster, then the ball is going to go further.
Well, you don't have to go far in physics to understand the equal and opposite reaction, right? It's like law.
So faster going in is faster going out.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like when you get like a Christopher Morel up against a Paul Skeens or something like that. And even in that game, like in the first inning, everybody else struck out except for Morel, who could actually get to the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas like Nick Madrigal, for example, up against Aroldis Chapman at the end of one of those games, I think he's still standing there thinking about whether he should swing at that pitch or not. I don't know.
And see, if you can swing the bat faster, that gives you more time to decide whether or not to swing the bat in the first place, and makes it more likely that you'll be successful when you do. So I think it's really interesting. People who have high bat speed tend to be more successful hitters. So it's good to know who is swinging the bat fast. We're already measuring how fast the bat is, or the ball is leaving the bat. That's at exit velocity. But measuring how fast that bat is getting there, that can help you project, how good that is going to happen.
And of course you got to hit the ball in the right spot, and
right. That's your bat to ball skills. So
Yeah.
bat speed, bat to ball skill, and then swing decision is deciding whether that is going to be a sweeper 10 zip codes away from your bat, or something that's going to end up right in the middle of the zone. Hey,
We can hear your dog back there just squeaking away.
I know my cat hates this show right now too. She keeps jumping up and biting me, and I keep shooing her away because she wants to go outside. I think because she probably hears rats by the dumpster, and she wants to go.
Yeah, Russell loves
Find out.
these natural rubber balls that have a little squeaker in them. He carries them around like they're his children, and he just got a brand new one. So of course, I just got home from work, so he's got to let me know. This is my baby. My baby is squeaky. Look how much I love it. It's so squeaky. And so, of course, now you all have to hear that. So hopefully he's got that out of the system now.
We're the only Cubs podcast that includes squeaky toys in our audio.
Yeah.
So
IFG, what are you cracking open there?
yeah.
So I was at T-Mobile Park today. I met a friend for lunch near the ballpark, and I stopped in at the International District at the what is it? The Uejimaya. And I got some Ichigo Stout, which is
Japanese.
imported from Japan. Look at that bottle. How cool is that, right?
It's kind of, it looks like a skull, but like the dude's also are those knives that he has, and he's like about to like slice somebody in half?
No, it's a drummer. He's a
Oh,
drummer.
it's a drummer. Yeah. God, I'm feeling violent tonight. Everything I
Yeah.
see, it's like
That super cool symbol that I can never remember the name of.
back when it was a skull.
Back when I was a herald in the SCA, I kept having people come up to me, go, "Can I put this on my coat of arms?" And I'm like, we have to call it a triskel because this thing isn't in medieval European heraldry. But anyway, really cool
please
symbol.
go on about that.
I don't know what it's called either, other than that thing I used to doodle on my notebook when I was 12.
Right.
Well, it looks badass. I hope it tastes as good as it looks.
There it goes.
Well, Carrie Meyer was asking if you had been at T-Mobile Park catching parachute hot dogs. Because, they have now taken to going up into where the poor people sit, showing them the food, and then throwing it over the edge to where the rich people sit so that they can catch parachute hot dogs.
If it makes you feel any better, it was a value game, and like the most expensive tickets, except for like the Diamond Club stuff, was like $30. So like it was upper deck was $10, and then like they have $20 tickets, and then
I'm just saying
ones.
the optics look bad.
The hot dogs themselves, I will brag about T-Mobile Park forever being the most affordable place to watch a baseball game in the major leagues, apart from the $10 baseball tickets to get into the park for $10. You can get a hot dog for $4, and you can get a soda for $4.
Wow.
And you can get a beer for $4.75. I am not even lying. There was a beer less than $5 at T-Mobile Park.
That is cheaper than the single A baseball game I went to yesterday.
And it's much cheaper than
It's delightful, by the way.
Yeah, that looks
Nice.
dark. Can't even see through that
Isn't
sucker.
that beautiful?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Wow.
So pretty.
So we started talking about this game, and we kind of talked a little bit about it. Can I just tell you guys how much I really love Pete Crow Armstrong? He hit a triple tonight in the gap. I feel like every ball that ever will like go to the wall in the gap is going to be a triple for that guy. I think there might be some inside the park home runs in there for him. He was he was trying to bunt with the bases loaded tonight in the first inning, which is a crazy freaking thing to do anyway. But if anybody's going to be disruptive and get away with it, I feel like it's him. He knows he can bunt because he's fast and he knows what he's doing. But the ball ended up hitting him in the foot anyway, because I feel like he's just throwing everybody off. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to hit him in the foot, and then that got a run in, And so and every single play that I saw him, this was at Wrigley Fields, this at the last homestand, every ball hit to right or left, he is right there. He is right there to back up that ball. He's like cheering the guy on, like, great job catching it. He's right there. So if any ball gets away, Pete's right there. And I mean, it's just, we haven't had a guy like that in a while, with the disruptive speed, with I like his attitude. He catches balls like a hot shot. Like, it would drive old dudes crazy to see that it done that way. And I love it.
He also has a gun for an arm.
Yeah.
He's got the tools. He's got the power, the speed to be the best in the National League. And
speaking of the speed, that home to third was like 11.2 seconds or something like that. I can't think about running to third base in 11 seconds. It would take me that long to decide whether or not to run that far.
Here's the thing. I don't know I know there has been nobody on the Cubs.
Nobody in the major leagues has run to third base that quickly.
Right, but I'm just saying, in general, nobody on the Cubs has been able to do this. And maybe there's a few other guys, but that's a ball to left field. Now, it was in the gap in left field, but it's a ball to left field. Yeah. Left field balls don't become triples because you're running towards where the ball is.
Yeah, unless the guy falls over or something, then it could. Well, I think
Right.
I could actually go home to third in 11 seconds. I do.
If you were running the other way.
Back
Yeah.
in the other direction. Maybe.
I just go home to third, and I'm saying maybe 11. It might take me more than 11 seconds to get 90 feet. I don't know.
But yeah, he was, and he knew it off the bat. Like, I could tell when he was coming around first base with how fast he was moving that he was going for third.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
When's the last time that some guy hit a ball, you saw it get past the fielder, and you're like, well, that's a triple. Easy triple. I've never thought easy triple. And that and Boog brought this up too. Remember a couple shows ago when I brought up that 8 different guys had hit triples? Now it's 10.
Yeah.
Now we're
Now
up to
it's 10. Wow.
10 different guys have hit triples. And not one has hit 2.
That's
Just triples for everyone.
they have a limit. All right, that's your one for the year.
Yeah, there's your
No more
triple,
triples
son.
for you.
Stay at second, jerk.
If you think you're going for a triple, you better keep on going home.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because Patrick Wisdom hit a triple as well. I don't know if he was on the original. Maya's got a triple.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's been a long time since Amias had a single.
Maya's having a rough time of it right now. Well, what else about this game? Assad was great. And
So
Ben
bunting.
Brown was okay.
Between the Cubs and the Mariners, there was so much bunting today. Or, well, it was the Royals doing all the bunting, but still, so much bunting.
Luke Little is back. I'll bring that up, and it's for a bad reason. I think Keegan Thompson. Well, we're going to go through the IL later, but he's got a virus of some kind, unspecified virus, which is after what we've all been through this last few years ago. When you hear unspecified virus, it's like kind of time to panic.
Yeah, don't use the term unspecified. I think you need to tell us right away which virus it is, so we can just rest assured.
Well, 15-day IL, so I don't know. Assad went 6, only gave up 4 hits, struck out 7. He has a 1.49 ERA. Ben Brown came into this game. He's now back in the pen. Which I think that's kind of the place for him. He's got the 2 pitches, the curveball and the heater, which is in the high 90s and is going great. And then Luke Little is back for Keegan Thompson. And I don't know.
Well,
he walks too many guys. So,
and here's the thing about Ben Brown being out there. I thought he looked pretty good. He did give up a couple of hits, but it's been a little bit since he's pitched. But they were hitting his fastball pretty regularly, but that curveball that he's got, like that knuckle curve that comes in at the top of the zone, it's pretty wicked. It's good. But what I also like about the way that they're using him is he pitched 2 innings. I thought maybe Council was thinking this too, if he's effective, he'd go 3 innings, right? So they keep him up in case they ever need him to spot start and pick up 4 at the start of a game or something.
yeah. So, I mean, the thing, I feel like they held Ben Brown back for a little bit just because they might have needed him to start. They weren't sure what was going to happen. Like, Tyone's been dealing with the back thing, and we're gonna get into the IL in the next segment. We should probably move on to some of these other games in the Brave series. They weren't good. The Cubs didn't score any runs. The end.
Yeah, they scored 7 more runs in this game than they scored in the 2 games prior. Maybe more than that.
Tyone had a rough time of it in his start yesterday. Gave up 6 runs, 2 homers in that inning. The wheels kind of fell off there.
2 earned runs, which were the home runs, and then like I said, I missed the actual game because I was at a game. There must have been an error, right? And then they scored 5 runs off the error.
Yeah, the defense wasn't great. It hasn't really been that good. It's been like a slightly average to below average, it feels like. But, in that inning, I can go through it with you, what happened to Ty.
We are going backwards, by the way.
Yeah, we are.
We did game 3. We're doing game 2 now. Let's talk about it quick, and then we'll hit Imanaga after that. So we can end on kind of good.
Well, the fact is, we faced the other series we have to recap is the Pirates, and we're facing the Pirates. So let's just talk about the Pirates later when we're talking about the Pirates. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, anyway, this is the fourth inning for Tyone. So he starts off by giving up a home run in the fourth to Michael Harris. Then you have an error, but it was by Tyone. So it's his fault. It should be on.
I guess you're right. If it's by the pitcher, then those should just be earned.
Well, and I heard tonight that JD said that he doesn't think pitcher errors should count against the team because pitchers aren't supposed to be fielders.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go. Designated fielder time.
How do you feel
We've
about
already. What did I tell you? Man, they're going to go to designated hitter, and then they're going to go to designated fielder. Pretty soon we're going to have an offense and a defense, and they're just not going to play on the field at the same time.
You know, I was reading something about like a bunch of different proposed rules for like bringing the starter back to life. I think Craig Calcaterra wrote about it in his newsletter. And I was like, you know what would be an interesting rule? And I've thought about this before, and I think that really would kind of I think Cotton, I think you would like this rule specifically. What if a starter stayed in a game long enough and performed well enough that they got 10 strikeouts, it would remove a run from the opposing team?
No.
So you could potentially have a game that ends 0 to -1. So
I'd rather see a tie than a negative run.
I think it would be hilarious, first of all. It would allow a pitcher who is dominating to contribute to an actual win without the help of his worthless offense that night. And you could have a situation where, like, if both teams only score 1 run in a whole 9-inning game, that pitcher doesn't get screwed out of a win because he gets pulled in the top of the 10th inning and then the Manfred man scores.
Yeah,
I can also see a situation just to discourage like the running up of the score by letting position players pitch, like getting rid of that. Like that's kind of, I mean, this is off topic of what you just said, but I was thinking to have run differential become part of it. Like it is in soccer. If you give up too many goals,
I would love that.
You're out. Like you can't just be like, we lost 17-0. No, you're not allowed to get pantsed like that. And if you do, it counts against you. You know, you can't throw out freaking Patrick Wisdom to pitch for you. You can't.
Well, if they go to tie ball games, that's when they would have that run differential then start to come in for the rest of the games, I guess.
Well, it becomes like half wins or something. But I think run differential is a really I think a run differential should count for the playoffs. I think that would be great personally.
There is something that does count.
Like it's like some 3-4 things down the tiebreaker levels that are practically unheard of.
But it's important. Imagine you get your ass handed to you by the Brewers and you end up in some virtual tie, and it's just because they blew you out once 10-2 that is the difference in your season. It really could come down to that, I think. I haven't looked it up. We'll deal with this in September.
David Elliott says, here's a crazy idea. What if we made the pitchers try to hit? Has that ever been considered? Frankly, I have said this before, and I'll say it again. If I never, ever have to see a pitcher cry standing in front of a ball traveling past his face at 100 miles an hour, I will be totally okay with that.
But it's funny.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I'm glad that you would be okay with that because I would love it. I would much rather see.
I'm trying really hard to keep pitchers alive when they don't have to get hit in the face.
I don't give a shit about them. They're fucking baseball players just like every other fucking baseball player.
No, they're not.
When you're in the National League,
the only way that you can
when they're in the National League, they should be hitting. And when they're in the American League, they don't have to. That's the fucking best way to have the game set up. It just is. It was better that way.
Yeah, it's your preference, and it's never going to be that way again. It's over.
I know,
over.
but I'm never going to fucking let anybody say, "Oh, if I don't ever want to see a pitcher hit," and not say something about it because fuck that. Pitchers can hit.
Well,
Shohei Ohtani,
very
hits.
few.
So what you're telling me is that Shohei should never hit again.
All right,
Shohei
hold
should
on.
never
No.
hit again.
We're not doing this. We're not doing it. We're
Okay, then
no,
don't fucking do it.
we're not
Look,
doing
if
it.
you want to fucking do it,
No.
you have to do
We're
is just
gonna-
say
no,
something.
I
Let's
mean,
compare
no,
and I'll
them to
rise to
each
the
right
occasion.
there. If you
I
want
wanna-
to watch the Chinichi Dragons throw their pitcher up at the plate 3 times a game,
No, I
go
wanna-
right ahead.
I want to piss you off. I want to piss you guys off completely differently right now. I do not want to talk about the DH ever again, actually. But what I do want
I
to
didn't
talk
bring it
about
up.
is this: Craig Counsell being thrown out for absolutely no reason by the ump show that was on Tuesday night. I don't know if you saw this, Michael.
Oh, by
You-
that crying 12-year-old.
Yeah,
I did. That
this
was the
little
Imanaga
boy-
game, right?
Yeah, it was the
Yes.
Was it?
It was the first
it
game.
was. And it was over a appealed swing call. Craig Counsell was just like, "What? I don't even know what happened." But the guy threw him out from across the freaking field. He didn't even do anything. This has been happening more and more with these freaking snowflake umpires who really, I mean, fans have yelled things and gotten managers thrown out of games. Like, and it happened again the other day.
That's just
Yeah.
classic Aaron Boone taking credit for someone else's work.
Well, what happened with Counsell, and I was watching the game, and I can't remember which feed I was watching, but they did actually talk about it. Like the ump being the ump show, you know, Counsell stood up there and he said, "What was that? That was, you know, he wanted it called a strike." And the ump, I guess Counsell was like starting to go back into the dugout, and the ump yelled, "Go sit down." And that's when Counsell was like, "Hold the fuck up. I'm not sitting down. You don't tell me to sit down." And then that's when he got tossed, is because he got pissed off because the ump told him to sit down, which is not something the fucking ump can tell him to do.
No.
And so Counsell argued that, and then the ump threw him out.
I
I
didn't even see
maintain my
that part.
belief that umpires are people who liked baseball but weren't good enough to play it and wanted to be cops but didn't have the balls to do it. So they just need to like make whatever the situation that they're in is about them as much as possible because it's the closest to relevance they'll ever see in their
So
life.
they're basically a Best Buy security guard
Yes.
in attitude, just messing with the teenagers, thinking they're
Yeah,
gonna steal some movies or something.
Yeah, and I can't be sure that that's exactly how that went down, but they were the whatever feed I was watching that night, they were talking about how Counsell was just about to go down, and then they were kind of like reading lips, and he said, "Go sit down," and that's when Counsell like got pissed and turned around, and then when he turned around, he got tossed.
Well, it was a bunch of crap.
It's garbage. It's just so stupid. I mean, look, you called out and whatever. Cut. You're an adult human being. He's a fucking manager. Yeah, his job is to be pissed at you for making a call that he didn't like. If you don't understand that about your job, what are you doing there? You're making one team mad every time you do anything. What are you just going to throw everyone out every time anybody doesn't like what you say? Jesus Christ. I would have been gone how many times if every time I said something that pissed somebody off, I'd be out.
Probably be banned from every ballpark I've ever been to.
I like what David Elliott says. All umpires need to be on segways, if we're being honest. Can you imagine, like, if they're all mall cops, so they could, like, you know, go. Imagine if they're on a Segway and they could, like, go and down the line and see if something's really a home run. Like,
Yeah, they're already not mobile enough.
yeah. Can you imagine Joe West on a Segway? Like, come on now.
PCA ran into one of them a week or so ago, going around first. He's running. That's what a baseball player does. Why is the ump even near that?
Yeah, that was kind of lame. I don't think he goes the second, but either way, that was
fucking
ridiculous.
stupid. I wish he would have hit him with the forearm shiver.
Yeah, exactly. Give him a bow to the freaking chin.
Speaking of crazy umps getting beat down, last night, 9th inning, dude threw like 92, 93 on the River Bandits. The catcher didn't didn't touch that ball one bit, and it hit the ump directly in the mask and took him out. Just boom, laying on the ground, just jacked up. Stopped the game for like 15 minutes while they checked on him. It was bad.
Ugh. All right, my cat needs to go out. She's driving me nuts. She keeps scratching me in the arm. So we're gonna take it to break. I'm gonna let my cat out, and then
it's Pet Day on the Sun Ranto show.
Exactly, it really is. We got the squeaky toys. We got the cat scratch fever going on over here. We don't have a Who's That Cubby right now because we got confused because it's Wednesday. We're like, we're not ready, so we're not ready. But what we will do is we'll go to break, and while we're at break. I would like everybody to go grab a nice beverage and let us know what you're drinking in the chat. We'll be right back.
All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a Super Ranter today. If you like the Cubs a bunch, buy your t-shirts from In the Clutch. We've got all the best styles for you. Dansby, Saya, Morel too. Clark Fly in his W. Cody Bellinger, Smoking Dukes. Vintage shirts from days of old. Patrick Wisdom and Nico. You'll look sharp wearing your stro. 10% off with the code SONRANTO. SONRANTO. InTheClutch.com is your store for the most fun baseball shirts on the planet. Don't forget to use promo code SUNRANTO to knock a couple bucks off your purchase. Stack or die, we need more cups. Get it all at In The Clutch. Cause if you like the Cubs a bunch, buy t-shirts from In The Clutch. Get it all at In The Clutch. Get it all at In The Clutch.
And we are back. Once again, I've got to show this incredible In the Clutch Ranter Fest shirt that we're going to be selling starting tomorrow. And I can't wait. So look for that. I'm going to be sharing this on Facebook, on the Discord, on Twitter. You only have 2 weeks to buy it. I believe, I don't know if you'll still be able to get 10% off with code Sunranto. I guess you could, but that'll just come out of the Lost Boys pocket because 100% of all proceeds are going to them. And the Clutch is working with us to donate to them. So check out Lost Boys, check out In the Clutch tomorrow when this gets for sale. And I'm wearing my In the Clutch tonight. I got the Stack or Die Cups shirt on. That was my idea. It's kind of a Revolutionary War joke, really. It kind of fits with the captain's hat, though, in a way. And Michael's got his Shy Feds, but they got a ton of great stuff. Savannah Bananas shirts and my personal favorite, the new 3-Finger Brown shirt that's out. The Browns twirling hand. I must admit, I've gotten mixed reactions so far, which is kind of how I like it.
I have gotten no reactions. I wear mine around and people are just kind of like, I don't know if they just don't know what they're looking at. I don't know.
So you're not like me being like, what do you think? What do you see my shirt? I also want to bring up that one of our Patreon supporters is going to win this amazing Ron Santo map over the city of Chicago here. It's just such a cool poster that you could win. And you're also going to win in the clutch shirt. That is the prize we give to one lucky Patreon person. So please support Matt Kammerer at his Etsy store, Permanent Paintings, and also support us at patreon.com/sunranto and hashtag chance in the chat if you would like to win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. Well, the Cubs took a chance and they made a trade. We have a trade that happened. Jake Slaughter gone, shipped him out. And
all the prospect pervs are just upset that Jake Slaughter is gone.
Well, he's pretty good. I mean, put up his numbers. Everybody can peruse them for a moment. He's got a lifetime minor league career slash line of 264, 346, 430. That's a 776 OPS. But he had some his last couple of 3 years have been great. He's had OPSs over 800 every single year. He hit 23 home runs in 2022. Last year he had 22 home runs. He has 5 already this year in Iowa, and they shipped him to
Danny,
the Mariners.
For such a good player, for such a good young prospect, tell us about this new dominant flame-throwing bullpen arm that we got.
Well, we didn't get one of those, so we got Tyson Miller instead. Oh, you meant Tyson Miller. Oh, I see. I thought you were. Well, I don't know. IFG let me ask you. I'll put up his stats here, but he's been in Seattle. I mean, we saw him years ago when he was with the Cubs. He was with the Cubs. He was drafted by the Cubs, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and he's got a sub 4 ERA in what was it, like 12, almost 12 innings this year so far. It's kind of funny. This is like the perfect trade because nobody's happy about it.
Exactly.
The Seattle fans are like, why did we give this person away for someone we've never heard of? And Cubs fans are like, why are we trading Jake Slaughter for someone that we drafted and decided not to keep on the team?
Yeah, we could have just kept him.
We could have just kept him instead.
Well,
we could only have got him one time instead of 2. And so I don't know who we traded him for in the first place or why he wasn't, still a Cub at press time.
Well, he went to a lot of other teams too. You see, in 2023, he was a Dodger, a Brewer, and a Met.
Right.
And then he ended up in Seattle. And before that, I mean, he was with pretty much every single team Chicago had. He was in rookie ball in Eugene. That's not even a team anymore. That was back in 2016. This guy's not young. He's 28 now.
No, he's been bounced around quite a bit. And, it's kind of funny because I saw people going, well, what? Like, hey, Jed, you got the wrong Miller. And then I'm like sitting here trying to think of which Miller that they're talking about. Because like we actually have like a lot of Millers that are pitchers right now floating around the league. We got, we got Tyson and Bryce and Bobby and Mason and Shelby. And like, there's a lot of Millers out there. So I don't know. Who's your favorite Miller? Which Miller should we have gotten?
There's Andrew too.
Andrew Miller. See, I keep forgetting.
Well, how about Bobby Miller? Bobby Miller, we saw him this year. Remember, he was on the Dodgers, and we thought Bobby Miller sounded like a 1940s band leader. It's Bobby Miller and his incredible band.
Amazing. Yeah.
A lot
so
of
many
Millers. Yeah.
Which Miller should we have gotten instead? I don't know.
Well, we got one of them.
We got one of them. Maybe it'll be a good one. Maybe. Tyson Miller will come here and he'll be amazing, and Jake Slaughter will go to the Mariners, who absolutely need infielders who know how to hit a baseball.
Well,
and maybe it'll just be good for everybody, and then all of the people who are mad about this trade will stop being mad.
Yeah, for people out there, for Cubs fans who are upset that the Cubs had him and let him go, and now they're trading back for him, you have to remember, the Cubs did not know how to build up pitchers.
Well, nobody's mad about that.
If he had not left the Cubs, he wouldn't be worth getting back.
Nobody's mad about getting Tyson Miller. What they're mad about is giving up Jake Slaughter because the prospect pervs fall in love with all those guys. And, and I understand, but you have to trade from a strength of or a place of strength. But it seems like we've been trading a lot of these like young sluggers for middle relief. Which, I mean, to me, like middle relief, I know it's important. Obviously, it's important on this team because we don't have good middle relief. We don't have any relief. We don't.
Right.
But like, I always thought that like, the failed starter, like you just kind of get relievers. Like whoever doesn't work out as a starter, they're relievers. Like, and I know that's not totally fair. You have your closer position. You have these defined roles in today's bullpens, but I guess I didn't think that you had to spend so much to get these guys,
well,
like
you
especially
do
to get somebody that you DFA'd in 2021.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
He was claimed off of waivers. Like he wasn't traded for anything. We just said, here, bye.
Yeah, he was exactly.
Probably a cash considerations kind of situation.
Yeah.
Well, they also non-tendered Kyle Schwarber.
They did. Yeah. They did. That was a year that broke all of our hearts, honestly.
That was kind of around that same time frame. Somebody wasn't making very good decisions.
So I've got some bad news. Is everybody's hurt, and the people that aren't hurt now were hurt, and so they're coming back from being hurt. But I've got a list of the injuries. We should just go through them because it's really historic. And I kind of paraphrased a few of these. Alzolay has a case of inflamed ERA, apparently.
So I heard that he was getting imaging done on his arm. I haven't heard anything since then, but that was what Megan Montemurro said. Like, I made the inflamed ERA joke myself, and then I saw what Megan Montemurro said, and I was like, shit, it's probably worse than that.
Yeah. The imaging came back 6.75.
Yes, exactly. 6.75. Well, it's Keegan Thompson. He has a strained upper lip from trying to grow a mustache. I understand he's having trouble with that. Actually, we think it might be COVID. But why would a COVID put you on the 15-day?
See, that's what I don't get either, unless it's like a super bad case or something, which would be unheard of.
Was he one of the unvaxxed guys from 2020?
Oh, maybe he is unvaxxed. Maybe he just does have it bad. I don't know.
I mean, bird flu, it just jumped to cows and jumped to a person, I read. I mean, he's got that, and we're all in for pandemic panty number 2.
And he did have a nest sitting right above his lip, under his nose. Birds could have been living in it.
Living in his mustache.
And then just...
Tiny hummingbirds.
He's snorting bird flu the whole game.
So, anyway, he's got bird flu. And then Dansby Swanson, he has Mallory Swanson sympathy knee pain, I understand, from coming back from her injury. Nico Horner has a stringed ham. Yency Almani has out of optionitis.
Yes.
Drew Smiley has old guy hip, I understand. Jordan Wicks has a strained foreskin. Forearm. Daniel Palencia has Iowa shuttle motion sickness, and Julian Merriweather and Kelly have unfortunately died. So
Daniel Palencia he's actually just misplaced half of his uniform. He doesn't know if it's in Chicago, if it's in Iowa, if it's somewhere in between.
I make light of these injuries, and I know these are guys dealing with real problems. Add this to this list: Ian Happ, who's been out for 2 days. Nico's actually not on the IL. He is just day to day. I mean, that's a lot of injuries to be this close to first place.
And it's kind of not, I mean, if, Ian Happ ends up on the IL or something, and if PCA is going to keep taking baseballs to various parts of his body. Also, David Peralta opted out of his minor league deal with the Cubs, so he's not an option either.
And Morel, I mean, this guy...
If he could stop fouling balls off of himself, I would sleep so much easier at night. Oh, my God. He's got, one of the highest bat speeds in the league, or the exit velocities in the entire league. He's hitting the ball 102 miles an hour off his own freaking foot. I want to cry every single time. Like,
It's so bad. It keeps reminding me of that Simpsons when like Homer goes on the skateboard off the cliff. He tries to jump the Grand Canyon, but instead he falls into the Grand Canyon. And then as they lift him out of the Grand Canyon, like he keeps hitting the side of the Grand Canyon as he goes up. And then they finally get him up into the ambulance, and then the ambulance crashes and the whole thing happens to him again. I mean, that is exactly what's happening to Christopher Morel right now. And he is still out there mashing baseballs, even with this happening to his body.
I can't imagine what his feet look like. The poor child. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of grossed out by feet as it is, let alone black and blue feet with like giant cords all over them. And then you've also had Ian Happ on the IL, offered the last 2 days. Bellinger was on the IL for quite some time. Seiya just got back. Steele was gone for a month. Hendo was gone for a few weeks. He's working his way back. Tyone didn't even start the season with us and now he's like iffy, I guess. And Patrick Wisdom had a stint as well to start the season. So like that is so many injuries. And I mean,
it's amazing that they've won as many games as they have. And if you want to know how that's happening, it's Imanaga, it's Assad, even to a lesser extent, Ben Brown and Hayden Wisniewski and all these guys who have been making just big starts through this first 2 months has been very impressive because we know the bullpen can't hold anything either. So,
right. Oh, David Lieb says, he says that Kurt Casale walked away too and straight into a major league deal with the Giants, which, the Giants were desperate. Tom Murphy went to the 60-day. So poor Tom Murphy.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Well, I mean, that's why I think, kind of panic a little bit and you go get yourself a Tyson Miller. You're like, hey, none of our dudes are working out. Alzolay. I mean, that's what scares you too. You make that kind of panicked deal there. And they must know something about Alzolay that we don't know. When we know that it wasn't working out, but maybe there is a reason for his suckitis, like that it wasn't just that he was failing. There was something physically going on, but that makes me wonder, like, what's the freaking medical staff doing? They're throwing him out there for freaking 2 months as balls go over the wall. And meanwhile, we're all seeing it like, something's off.
Yeah, I'm taking a look now, and it looks like the Chicago Sun-Times was reporting that Alzolay has a flexor strain in his right elbow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same thing that I said about Dansby Swanson. He hurt his knee. They let him play for 12 games. This medical staff let him play for 12 games until he literally was just too injured to play anymore.
Yeah.
And then they finally put him on the 10-day. It's like, just do it when he's hurt, when they have a stretch that they could have actually, I don't know, maybe not, because he played so long. 12 games he played on that bad knee. At any point that could have gotten worse. It probably did get worse just having to play that much. And then they're like, oh, it should be fine if he takes 2 days off. And then he never makes it back from that 2 days. And they're like, yeah, we're going to go for the 10-day.
Yeah.
They should have just done it in the first place before he could have spent that entire road trip. He could have been in Chicago or wherever they wanted him rehabbing his knee.
Yeah, and Jeff and Aaron make a good point here. Today's flexor strain is tomorrow's Tommy John, and you just.
mean, those. To be fair, those are not the same parts of the body. The flexor tendon is not the ulnar collateral ligament. Those are two different body parts. So.
I mean,
it doesn't mean that you should throw him out there to continue irritating his flexor tendons. But it is saying that his arm is tired, has been overworked, and needs to rest for a little while.
Well, and I was kind of making the point on Cubs Pod today is that, one of the reasons they were planning on all the dudes that David Ross rode so hard at the end of last year to try to get out of that hole that the team had dug for themselves as they tried to salvage what the 2023 season was. They rode Merriweather. They rode Alzolay.
Yeah, like rented horses
to death, and Mark Leiter Jr. And him too, and you're just kind of waiting for him to be the next shoe to drop, because you know, every other year, once you ride a bullpen guy, I mean, I was talking to John Pincus the other day, and we were talking in terms of like how you use the back end of the bullpen / swing guys, like a Montgomery, for example, you know, for the guy that finished the 2016 World Series for us. That being that guy kind of wrecked his career. Like what could have been, he might have been a serviceable starter that was always out there, but instead he always went back and forth, and then it was like, I don't know, it didn't work out. You could see that situation maybe happening with like a Wesneski or a Ben Brown, although Ben Brown's got more elite closer-ish stuff, so maybe they're looking at that way. But I don't know really what my point is, to be honest.
Well,
at this point,
what you were talking about is just riding these guys too much, and it seems like
now you don't have
they don't really have a plan, you know. And that was the whole thing with David Ross, why we were so upset. There were other guys in the bullpen, but he gave up on them. I mean, he gave up on them in July, like literally.
Well,
we hardly saw any of them.
Homers and your box burgers, like they never really worked out, you know. So,
and we've had these discussions,
right?
We've had these discussions in the Discord about the entire team actually should and could be resting. You've got guys like Miles Mastroboni, you got Canario, these guys who are just sitting on the bench, they never get a chance. And while you've got these other guys playing every single day, there's no reason you can't get them out there 1 or 2 days a week.
Well,
and
they got
give
the
them
chance now. They're out there every fucking day now. Now they're your freaking heart of the lineup is Mastroboni and Madrigal.
And I think that's the same thing that you're talking about here, Danny, is like now, because all these guys that they rode too much last year aren't doing it this year. Now they've got to go out and find a Tyson Miller, and they've got to hopefully get some of these guys. They have to have these young guys pitch in positions maybe that they don't want them to, but they have to because they don't have any other options. And it's the same way with Mastroboni, Madrigal, these guys that maybe shouldn't be playing every single day. Now they have to play every single day because you were never given any of the other guys a chance to kind of just move around. You know,
I have to give an apology to Jeff and Aaron over there, because I wanted them to be wrong. And then I, just did a quick Google, and I found a study on flexor tendon injuries in Major League Baseball players, and you're not going to like this news. It says the median time in the study of 134 Major League injuries. It says the median time spent on the disabled list for MLB players was 42 days. And over the study period, 19.4% of the MLB players required UCL reconstruction within a year of sustaining the forearm injury.
Oh, so
20%.
That was a little bit of a knee-jerk reflexor that you should have not.
And Alzolay already had so many injury issues within his now long and spotty career, because he was a starter and then he was dead and then he came back in the bullpen and then he died again and now he's back and now he's dead. So it's like it's and he's such a nice dude. I love him. I will always remember Alzolay at Cubs convention at the end of opening ceremonies. Adbert Alzolay, everybody scatters and the thing takes way too long, so everybody scatters and everybody has to use the bathroom. So everybody went to where the hotel bathrooms are. Well, Alzolay must have gotten lost and he went through the wrong door and he ended up in the same bathroom as all the fans that had just seen him on stage. And he's got big hair, so he's very recognizable. He's wearing a maroon suit with no socks. He definitely stands out. Everybody knows he's a player. He's just sitting there taking a leak and he's like waving to people. He's like, hey, I'm Adbert Alzolay taking a leak with my fans. And he didn't give a shit. He was non-flustered. He wasn't like, "Oh God, I'm in the fan bathroom. I'm gonna catch herpes." No,
He's just a dude.
he's just a dude, and he couldn't have been everybody. And and when you're a dude, people leave you the fuck alone. Actually, they leave you alone when you're peeing because it's just awkward.
So true.
Yeah, but I love Admirals. I wish him
I
the
do
best.
too.
It's so.
I will never forget when he first came up. Little baby Adbert with his little notebook, sitting down, taking notes on every batter that he faced. It was the cutest thing I had ever seen. I was like, I love this child.
And when he came off the field and lifted his hat,
Yes,
he thought because everybody gave him a
darling.
yeah, and that cracked up. Was it Anthony Rizzo was dying?
Oh yeah, they were all laughing and giving him a hard time about it. Absolutely hilarious.
So, well, speaking of, well, not really talking about gear, but for my 50th birthday, just to switch gears and maybe go to break again, I got some, and I've never owned any of this kind of like knockoff Chinese gear. I assume that's where it's coming from. So, my sister sent me. I got a box for my birthday. Some gear, and it's customized, and so people are going to wonder why I don't have 69 on my back, but it's 50. So I turned 50 years old, but it says Rocket. So
you've got 19 more years for that jacket.
Yeah, God, I can't wait. It really, that's my goal in life. My dad only made it to 66, so I just got to live 3 years longer than him. But check out the front of this thing. They really knocked it out of the park. The champion and the M is so fucked up. Like the M has like an extra kind of line to it. The champion on the top. And then for some reason it just says, damn right. Like, what? Why?
This is the most like truck stop just over the Illinois border thing I have ever seen in my entire life, and I kind of love it for that.
It's pretty amazing. And then like look at the players on it. I believe left to right, that's Cole Hamels.
Oh yeah.
My beautiful birthday twin, Cole Hamels.
Who he was not on the 2016 team, so he's not a champion, right? Cole Hamels was not on that team.
No,
I do not believe so. No, he was. He showed up later.
He was the next year, and then Jason Hayward, who was Javi, who was I think that's Benzo in the middle. And then,
David, or Everett Tosher just pointed out. It says how and forever.
Oh, I know. I was getting to that. I was getting to that. Yeah, that was the grand finale. But now that we're there, it says I am a Cubs fan. How and forever.
That's what we're all asking, honestly.
Exactly. It really needs a question mark at the end of that forever. Forever? How? Forever and how? So that's really good. And then I like how Yu Darvish is at it randomly.
Oh yeah,
And I don't know who that guy is. Is that Hendo? I can't tell who that is.
I feel like that's Hendo. He's kind of a skinny, throwy boy. It's got to be Hendo, right?
It kind of is. He's making a Hendo face. So
right.
His glove. I think the glove might give it away if we could figure out whose glove that is, because that's unique.
And there's a Javi with the gold chain as a paid actor in the photo.
Yeah, and Chris Bryant is up top.
He's up in the top.
So yeah.
And who is that? David Bodie in the middle? Like, who is that?
I think
on the bottom.
I think it's Zobrist.
Yeah, I think it's.
Oh, is that Zobrist?
Yeah.
Oh, I must have repressed his
Which,
face.
by the way, fits perfectly because Zobrist was on the team for like 4 years, and every time I would see him out on the field, I always had just a second where I went, "Who's at second?" And I was like, yeah, it's Ben Zobrist.
You know what? I used to go to Rays games, and I would look down on the field and be like, "Who the hell is that guy?" So, I think he just has that kind of face.
Well, the Rays are always like that. Like they've got the more made up players than any other team in the majors, I think. So, all right, we're going to take this time a quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll preview the Pirates series and talk a little bit about that series we just played against them, and then we'll be done. And won't you please use our links at sunrancher.com/stuff, please. If you go to Amazon, if you shop at Amazon, and frankly, who doesn't? Well, use our links at sunranto.com/stuff. Here's how.
Stuff. Hey, Cubs fans, at Amazon.com, do you buy lots of stuff? Why not support the Sun Ranto Show by shopping through sunranto.com/stuff? All you gotta do is fill your cart at Amazon with lots of stuff. Then before you check out with all of that wonderful stuff, head on over to sunranto.com/stuff and click any of our Amazon links before you buy your stuff. Check out like you normally would with all that beautiful stuff. And the Sun Ranto Show will get a small kickback because of the stuff you bought. And you'll be helping the Sun Ranto Show buy all the stuff we need to stay on the air talking about the Cubs and other stuff. Plus, you could win a monthly prize if some of your stuff is chosen for Amazon stuff of the month. And if you win, we'll send you more stuff. Sunranto.com/stuff. That address again is sunranto.com/stuff.
Do you ever find yourself longing for long walks and talks about catcher metrics? How about a coffee over run differential? Maybe a candlelit dinner dissecting what exactly is the curious case of Miles Mastrobuoni? If you have, I have just the place for you, the Cubs PS Plus podcast. Come join us. Cubs PS Plus, a Northside numbers game, can be found wherever it is you get your podcasts, and on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Cubs PS Plus, a spin on the baseball metric OPS Plus. Are you ready? I'm ready. Here we go.
This is Fergie Jenkins. You're listening to Sean Randall, the 69th Beth Cup podcast.
Welcome back to Sean Rando, the 69th best podcast that there is. We're looking forward to seeing everybody at Ranterfest. I'll just bring that up again real quick. Sunranto.com/Ranterfest is where you find out all about that. I booked Miguel Esparza to sing Elvis songs at Ranterfest.
That's awesome.
How cool. And John Benedict, I booked him to sing the national anthem.
Oh, nice.
Maybe we'll even do the Canadian one just in case there's Canadians around. Maybe we'll do at every single nationality. We'll make John Benedict sing it for. We'll in fact, Ranterfest now all anthems, all countries. It'll be an international community. Then we sing "We Are the World." Go to the game. In.
I'm gonna have
We
to
Are the
practice
World?
my Chinese. It's
Exactly.
awful, honestly.
That's terrible.
So we're facing the Pirates, and we just faced the Pirates, except for this time, we'll be doing it in a 4-game set at Wrigley Field. And we have no rematches. It seems like they're just like one off of each other now. So whereas like last time that we faced Skeens, it was Steele that faced Skeens. I believe this time it will be Kyle Hendricks facing Skeens. So those are two different kinds of
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's very different. 101 down to 89.
But we beat the Pirates. I mean, we won 2 or 3, and we have to talk about game 2. We got to talk about the loss first because that game was insane. Cubs go down big. Then there's 6 bases loaded walks in a row. And in the middle of this bases loaded walks, there's a 2-hour rain delay. And just absolute insanity. Then the Cubs, of course, blow the lead because the bullpen stinks. And they end up winning 10-9.
The Pirates won 10-9.
Yeah, Pirates won 10-9. Is it one loss of the series? Was one that we should have lost a long time earlier in the game.
Well, the whole reason that the rain delay happened between walks was because they only needed Skeens was out there.
They needed 1 out. That's
and they
all
needed 1 out. And they brought who they bring in. I can't remember who they brought in, but he just started walking everyone. And then they brought in another pitcher. He started walking everybody. And if they had gotten the 1 out, they could have gone into rain delay and actually called the game,
And they would have won.
and the Pirates would have won.
Then, yeah.
But because it was tied up, and right when they tied it, that's when the rain really started to dump. They had to pull them off the field, and then they had to come back. There was no. It was a tie game. They had to come back at some point, and when they did, the Pirates just continued walking, guys. It was crazy.
I had never seen anything like it. And it's all started with, I believe, a hit by pitch, and then he didn't throw another. He didn't throw another strike. I think that guy after the hit by pitch.
Oh yeah, he threw something like 13,
14 balls in a row,
Yeah.
including the including the
including
hit
the
by-
hit by pitch. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was insane.
It's kind of rude to the baby debuting pitcher, honestly.
It really
Yeah.
was. And his who's that girl that it's his girlfriend, Libby.
Oh, Livy Dunn
Livy Dunn, yeah.
she's a gymnast at LSU, and she was on their like national championship team. She's not like one of their best people, but she's on that team and she's good. But she's, I guess, a TikTok star because she's attractive and she can do gymnastics stuff. So
That'll
That's
do
really
it.
all it takes.
Yeah.
she can wear bikinis and then stand on her hands, walk around, go back into the splits, and then back up onto her hands. And I'm always impressed with gymnasts, just how strong they have to be to make
Oh,
to be able to
absolutely.
do that crap. Like, there's no way. At my strongest, when I was wrestling, when I was a kid and I only weighed like 120 pounds, I couldn't have done that shit.
So this guy's instant royalty in the major leagues. Like Boog was freaking. He couldn't handle it. Like I saw this from Dan Wisdom on Twitter. It says, I hope Boog cleans his pants between innings talking about skis.
Oh, Boog had skeins marks in his pants.
I mean, listen, I'm all fine for when Len Casper used to do this. Remember when with Clayton freaking Kershaw, and he used
Yeah.
to piss off Cub fans a lot then too. We're like, oh my God, shut up. And you know who else freaking Casper loved? Trevor Bauer. Loved him. Was always fluffing that dude. It was
Yeah.
so annoying. And I think I want to tell Boog, no appetite for it. Cub fans don't have an appetite for you freaking loving on Skeens. Say who
Well,
he
if
is.
you do that, he will block you.
Boog, I don't even think has a Twitter anymore.
Mate, I don't know.
We couldn't find it. Either
Maybe
that or I'm
you are
blocked.
also blocked.
Who cares? Shit Bambi sucks. And nobody you'd think the Cubs fans don't have an appetite for that. They didn't have an appetite for anything he was doing before it. It's the only game that he actually paid attention, and it's because of the pitcher on the other team.
Other team, yeah.
You know, look, I'm tired of him and his act. Like, just call the freaking game. Look, I listened to the Pirates do a couple of those games, and somebody was saying that the Pirates announcers weren't good. I disagree. Are they super entertaining? No. Would they be top tier, like great to listen? No. But guess what they do? They talk about the damn game all the time. And I always knew what was happening. I always knew, what was going on. So even if I happen to be getting up to go get a beer or go take a piss and I can hear, I know what's happening in the game because they fucking paid attention to the game, and that's all we really want. And then once you get that down, then you can have a little fun talking to JD. But until then, just stick to the game.
But did they have Taylor McGregor coming in every 3 innings to discuss
No.
the proper pronunciation of the word Atlanta, and that Boog has too much of a T in his Atlanta instead of Atlanta, and that would be a main topic of conversation throughout the entire fucking game?
Yeah. Oh.
Why?
Well,
Why?
here's the other thing you're going to find amazing. I have no idea what the guys calling the game for the Pirates look like. They never showed them. Not a single fucking time. They didn't show the guys. So I don't know what they look like.
But were there really entertaining advertisements in the middle of the at bat?
You know what? There were some weird things. Yeah, there
Like
were
that?
some weird things. And then at one point, the audio on my feed got weird, and it was the audio for the commercial that had just gotten over was on while Christopher Morel was hitting, and he ripped a ball foul down the left field line, and a baby cried. And it was crazy.
I didn't see that, but
nobody did. It was just on this one
just
feed.
you,
And
yeah.
something was messed up. I found
thanks-
a different
thanks for
feed,
sharing.
and there was no more babies crying during Morel at bats.
Yeah, oh yeah. Don Rula says I'm tired of Boog flirting with Taylor. That's a common complaint. I see you put something in here in the chat, IFG, about Boog's Twitter. Do we know?
No, that was somebody else. Mr. Fourth Row says, I don't think Boog is on Twitter, but he does have Instagram. I was trying to find a screenshot of the Boog Shambi that blocked me, and I was like, I saw one popped up that like hadn't blocked me. I was like, oh, maybe I'll unblock, but I don't think it's a real account.
Yeah.
So maybe he just went up and then deleted.
There's a Boog account that says I'm saving this for the real Boog. Did you see that one?
Oh, interesting.
There's a weird account that's like it's just Boog Shambi, and then it's like I'm saving this for, and it has like no followers. It's not following anybody, and it has no picture. And I'm like, all right. John Pickus asks,
Would you three take 10 Zaidman laughs per game if Pat and Ron just simulcast radio and TV? 1,000%.
I have been asking for a simulcast since the original Pat and Ron, way back in the 90s. Like, that's what I wanted then, too. I don't know why they pay extra people to do this job. It's not really required. And the Zaidman laugh thing, I mean, fire him, too. When he's on the air, he doesn't laugh. So what is he doing when he's not on the air? He just wants you to know he's in the room, I guess. It's so fake. It's the worst.
It's like sometimes I'll listen to a podcast, and there'll be one person talking, and the other person talking has to constantly be going, yeah, yeah, and I'm like, dude, shut up.
Active listening just to like prove that it's just so everybody knows there's somebody else in the room.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'm
100%.
trying to just show.
No, I get you.
I just don't know how he can laugh so much when he is sitting behind them doing whatever he does.
I don't know. My brain,
but when he's on mic, he doesn't laugh at all.
Yeah, when I'm listening to Pat call the game, like my brain, I just like mentally delete Zach Zaidman from the entire thing. He's just like static. I could totally handle that because I don't care what he's saying or laughing about or anything else. So it's fine. Like if you give me Pat describing exactly what shade of blue the sky is, rather than somebody talking about some freaking shoes or
flirting with the on-field reporter
or whatever the fuck else is going on. I mean, that 800 day 3,427 of me asking for MLB Network or MLB TV to put park sounds back on so I don't have to listen to anybody talk over my baseball game. And that honestly would be ideal because I have enough thoughts and feelings about the game without having to have somebody else inject them into my ear holes.
I tell you, a lot of times, and there was I was kind of reminiscing about the summer of 2020 when we were in our little building pod here and Bleacher Jeff was living downstairs, and we watched most of those games, and we went also post-game and pre-game almost all those games, and I would be sitting down there and we would just have music on. Like Jeff was really into yacht rock that summer, so that whole 2020 season, which we did technically make the playoffs or whatever of that weird that season, but all I could hear is Christopher Cross, run like the wind, and it's just like And all I could see is Alec Mills and Christopher Cross. Like, it's all crossed up to me.
Tom Cooper has a great idea. Zach Zaidman laugh contest at Rancher Fest.
Writing it down. I actually saw Zaidman coming out of the stadium the other day, and he was walking down Waveland, and I yelled at him, I'm Zaidman, and he almost stopped and talked to us on Ball Hawk Corner.
And then he just like reflectively went for the block button, even though he was standing there in front of you in person.
We talked a little bit about the game. I forget what had happened. Which game was that? I guess it was the last home game at Wrigley. Whatever happened to that game, we talked about the end of it. Just briefly, we had a little interchange, and I was like, ooh, let's work on him. But I'm like, how awkward for if he became friends with us and we're over here, and I'm like deleting all our old shows in case he watches them. And I'm like,
I would never.
Go on.
No, if you want to be friends with me, you got to stick with my terrible opinions. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Well, I was like, what if we get him on the show? We're like,
unblock me, David Kaplan. I don't hate you anymore. Promise.
Well, like David Elliott said, he has grown to not hate ZZ. He has figured it out, unlike Boog. But see, this is a very specific point. When Zach Zaidman's actually calling the game, he is getting better. My only issue is when he's not calling the game. When he's not on the mic, we shouldn't know he's there. Really, unless Pat or Ron talk to him directly. It's that Pat and Ron are having a conversation, and then you just hear him cackling in the background, and it drives us nuts.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're just supposed to give us like the scores in the sixth inning around the league. Like, you're just, maybe if somebody asked, pondered what that stat might be, your job's to look it up, and tell us what the stat, like, that should be pretty much it. We don't need you to inject you as a personality in a thing. You're
right. It's like the producer girl on a classic rock early morning show, right? Where like you never hear from her unless the host needs something Googled.
Right.
Yeah. And then she like buzzes in like, oh, it was 57% of the time in 1978. And they're like, thank you, Edna.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of should be the gig. And you just don't need the peanut gallery laughing. But I mean, who knows? Maybe if we hung out with him, maybe it's like really fun because he just laughs at all your stupid jokes all the time. It's like maybe he'd be great on his podcasts. And I can't want to be like, laugh more.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that Zach Zaidman is a hype man?
Yeah, exactly. He's just like Flavor Flav back there. He should wear a big clock.
Yeah.
What's up, Pat?
We could get a drop, Danny, of just Zaidman laughing. And just every time one of us makes a bad joke, we just run Zaidman's.
Like a dog clicker.
Does he have Cameo?
Like, you made a joke.
Exactly.
I would not win the Zach Zaidman laugh contest because I have not listened to it in years.
I could definitely do I can make a Zach Zaidman soundboard.
Yeah.
Just for the show. That would be great for our ratings.
Yeah, it would.
I do kind of always imagine that he laughs and his jaw does the Jim Carrey. I see it when I hear it.
How did we get so far off?
Like a Terry Gilliam.
Oh, the Pirates.
Yeah, we were talking about the Pirates. How did this happen? I don't even remember.
All right. So the Pirates,
I remember we were talking about a rain delay.
Well, we talked about game 2. Game 1, that was so long ago. I mean, we won it 7-2. That was another Assad start and Brown piggyback situation. So that worked out okay. Assad, didn't have his best start of the year. It was much better today. Cubs had 3 errors. Morel had a bad game in the field, and Brickhands Bush, like, I don't know what's going on with that guy, like at first base,
So today he made an amazing play over at first where he had to like dive to his left, catch a ball that was badly thrown, and then he tagged the runner on the foot as he went by, and it was amazing. But if he's standing right there and they throw it right at him, I mean, there's a 20% chance he'll drop it. Like, you just don't know what's about to happen.
He's not Anthony Rizzo.
No.
But we won that game.
And I have said over and over the Bellinger, PCA in center, Bellinger at first. That is the best version of this team.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's
Totally
right.
agree.
And then and man, PCA is like learning the league now. He's out there, and yeah, I just love his energy. He's a big spark plug too. And Bellinger back from the injury, I can see why they're taking it a little easier with him in the field right now. And then game 3, we almost lost, ended up winning in 10. Thank God for that Patrick Wisdom home run at the end of it. Otherwise, we would have lost because Edward Alzolay came in and almost gave it up again, and then he ends up on the IL. And I mean, Nico saved that game. Nico Horner, who was playing shortstop, now he's banged up or has a hamstring problem. But in that game, he made quite the play at shortstop, and it saved the game. They would have scored a run, and that would have been the game. And so that's how close we were to having a losing road trip. But instead, we went 3-3, and that's better than a sharp stick in the eye. If you can, with all these injuries, if you can tread water. I mean,
eventually you'll get enough pitchers from the Mariners that nobody's ever heard of that I have nowhere to go with that statement. I just had to stop. I didn't know.
Well, that's kind of like this show right now, right? There's just nowhere to go except over to the Discord, which if we do end soon, I'm all for going over there for at least a little bit. I'm up for a moment. But we do have a message from Cubstradamus. He told me though that it's the exact same message as last week because it's the exact same team that we're facing next. So here's Cubstradamus with his message for you.
At Christmas, there's presents from Santa. The zoo always waits for baby pandas. But the Cubbies are going to where the election was stolen. The Democrat-run city of Atlanta. Trump 2024.
I could see.
I forgot
why
he said that.
I could see why he got confused and just resubmitted the exact same thing. But good Lord, this is terrible.
I will not have any more election denial on this show. I won't.
Until next week.
Until next week. All right, Ranter Fest. You guys got to come. It's going to be awesome. About half of the tickets for the Saturday are spoken for at this point. There will be a point where we sell out. I suggest you get them early. I only have so many table service. No, it's not table service. Reserved table seats available because there's only so many reserved tables. So if you would like one of those at either the Friday comedy show or at the Saturday, please get in there now and go to sunranter.com/ranterfest. It's going to be fun. It would help us if we can plan ahead, knowing who's there instead of a bunch of people showing up at the last minute and we're overwhelmed by the situation, which would also be nice. But I'd like to be overwhelmed before I go. So we are not going to do Cubsler this week, but we will remind you what the Cubsler from last week is, and then we'll have a overall a 2-week Cubsler.
Yeah, everything just happened. We got going a little early this week, and I wasn't ready. But we don't have a ton of people who've answered this, so we'll give you a little bit more time. A shortstop Monarch who became a Cub. Second Monarch moved position for the club. Second Monarch coach after Buck in MLB. Finally first on September 21st, 1963. And remember, people, it's all about looking things up. When you look at the words in there and you say, this is interesting, and you go and you start to search things, you will start to follow the trail that I'm laying out there for you.
So yeah, Sunranto, Sunranto at Gmail. Yeah, I was like, how does it go? Sunranto at gmail.com is where you will send your answers to, and we will judge them correct or incorrect.
And please put Cubsler in the subject line. So
it is helpful. And we're
and
gonna
if finding the Gmail thing is too difficult, just DM me and I'll get it over to Cotton. It's fine.
Yeah, that'd be fine too. And then we are going to have some Cubslers at Ranterfest as well, along with some trivia. That'll be part of the fun. So don't miss it. All right, I got a TFC or two.
I got one.
Go ahead, shoot.
Okay. This I of course, because I can never pay attention to one thing at a time. I enjoyed watching this little Twitter back and forth between Mike Waller and Sarah Sanchez while the show was going on. And I thought it was an interesting conversation. And so I wanted to share at least how it's going so far. And if it continues, we can speculate as to where it might go. But here we go. Hey, Danny, you want to help me out? Maybe I can read Sarah's parts and you could read Mike's. So that
Sure,
I'll
be Mike.
Okay, you be Mike, I'll be Sarah. Okay,
sounds good.
Okay. The fact that Miles Mastrobuoni gives the Cubs a backup shortstop who can play like this is incredibly valuable. This defense is wildly impressive off the bench, and the bat's been better lately, too.
He's the kind of bench player good teams have. He had a rough start and didn't play enough. He's my major beef with Madrigal. He's faster, better defensively, and has more pop.
100% agree relative to Madrigal. This is Sarah and also IFG saying this.
Making that move could open space for an actual productive bat on the bench.
I bet they've shopped him around a bunch. I'm sure no one's interested. They got more for Slaughter. It's bonkers.
Yeah, right. You couldn't even get Madrigal for Tyson Miller, a guy you DFA'd.
She says, to be clear, this is wild speculation on my part, but insisting on trading Madrigal for actual value is the only thing that makes sense to me at this point.
I think you're right. There was a point where he had value, but the leg injury zapped it. When he can play most days, his bat gets going, but he just doesn't fit on this roster. And he's a bad part-time player.
Sarah says he's the only hitter who has been on a major league roster for the better part of 3 years that I've ever seen with a hit chart that makes just conceding extra bases possible. He barely hits the ball over the single line. You can just ignore the possibility.
Oh, my God. Ignore the possibility. There's your obvious shirt. Madrigal. Ignore the possibility.
I like that.
It sounds deep, but isn't. It's fun. All right, I got one here. This is about Trevor Bauer, actually.
Oh, fuck. What? Yeah. I cannot wait for this person to be out of my face.
Well, you'll like this, though. Brian, 217, says, if you want to sign Trevor Bauer, you probably also were participating in January 6th. Believe COVID is a lie. Watch Fox News.
See, and this is showing up because that shithead was on Twitter again going, why doesn't nobody want to sign me? I'm definitely better than at least 4 people who are on a major league roster, and I'll work for cheaper, and I'm desperate, and somebody please join me, invite me to your club. And honestly, he's just giving Uncle Rico vibes where 20 years from now, he's going to be like, I can pitch a ball over that mountain, because he just refuses to accept the fact that no fucking buddy wants him around.
I think he got thrown out of a game. Or thrown out by Terry Francona for trying to throw a ball over the back wall.
Yeah. Uncle Rico style.
Uncle Rico style.
Like
and he's he is
so toast. The simple fact of the matter is he has made his own name mud, and no owner of a baseball team who wants to have more money at the end of their time owning it than they have currently is gonna sign him, because that is a bad investment.
Not even the A's. What is that saying? And the A's, they don't even have fans that would give a shit if you signed them. They don't care at this point. They're like, fuck it, sign Trevor Bauer. They don't give a fuck. So they don't. They won't go to the game. They have under 5,000 fans a game.
But they would tee off on that signing.
Sure.
The ones that don't even care,
the owners don't give a shit. They would
still tee off on it.
But even the owners that don't give a shit, like the A's owner, he's not.
Oh, you're saying the owners
not be
don't
bothered.
Yeah.
You are so much more trouble than you're worth.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're going to win a Cy Young every year, which is not a thing that's going to happen. You're just not worth dealing with.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean he should just go play in Mexico or somewhere that will take him because they don't really know the story or care.
Care.
Yeah, and they might not care because it's an American story. It's not local to them. They don't follow major leagues. Lost in translation, whatever it is. Different culture. Either way, he's done in the major leagues. That is much. Yeah. He's blackballed. Now, what you think about the idea of blackballing? If there was some major league tribunal court, go ahead. Because Trevor, I guarantee you don't want to be drugged through the freaking mud in front of everybody. That would have to happen in a situation like that. Because
the simple fact of the matter is MLB already looked at him and said, we are going to give you the longest suspension anyone has ever had for anything. And
they didn't tell anybody what they saw. And now you want us to tell us? Because then it's over.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's already over. So, all right. I have one more TFC. Does anybody else have one?
Nope, it's all you.
Well, there's two things. One is that I thought it was funny in the other day where they were talking about the umpire having like electronics in his pants. And then all of a sudden I look over the screen and it's just boner cam. Umpire boner. And I was like, ah! And then I was like, oh, there's no way they're going to show this again. And then they did. They showed a freaking boner cam. I've got like 3 pictures of boner cam. I only have the one because that's enough.
So was this on Marquee?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I mean, it makes sense. They put Shambi's face on there all the time, so it's always boner cam.
Booger cam and boner cam. And then this last one I have is that, the Cubs didn't do shit for my birthday, but the Red Sox did. They didn't. Not even their automated bots could send me $10 off per ticket, but the Red Sox did. So I guess the Cubs don't care, and I do know that the Cubs, they just don't give a shit. And I thought the Red Sox would be a team that doesn't give a shit, but they do. They give a shit. Look, I got the little green Wally guy offered me $10 off my ticket.
To be fair, that does say up to $10 off per ticket. They could be like, well, we're going to give you like $0 off this ticket because it's a game you actually want to go to.
It's up to, yeah.
This is not really a TFC, but In the Clutch does, really cool t-shirts. But like my biggest complaint with In the Clutch is that a lot of their t-shirts are very designed for boy-shaped bodies. Like the graphics tend to be rather long. If you're a person who has curves, they just don't look right when being viewed from the front. But I did see this really great Chicago Cubs In the Clutch shirt that I think I'm going to pick it up because it looks nice. Look at this. Look at this great shirt. It's very simple. It says, "Hey Chicago" in this nice script font. It's got the little W flag, and that would look really nice. So
that's a Shota shirt.
That is a very nice Shota Imanaga shirt by In the Clutch, and I was just so delighted to see that. I'm going to buy it and hope it gets to me before I leave for Chicago.
Well, make sure you use code Ranto for 10% off.
I am going to do that.
Then you get, in fact, I'll send you the $4 we get from selling it. And you'll get $3
that'll buy me a hot dog at T-Mobile Park.
Yeah.
Take notes, Wrigley Field.
And it'll buy you half a hot dog at Wrigley Field, maybe, if you don't tip. So hashtag Chance in the chat, and we will send you a Frank Chance postcard. What did I do with them? With a message of love and or doom. So here we go. This is your last chance to get into the chance, and we'll see who wins the chance. See how many people. Ooh, it says 18, but there's always more. Let's just draw it up here. Boom.
Bada boom.
Oh, yeah, with 18, we might get a new winner.
And it's going slow now. Seth Kennedy. Oh my! Congratulations, Seth. You have won again. I wish you were coming to Ranterfest. I know he lives in New Jersey, so he won't be able to join us, but he will be getting a message of love and doom on a hashtag Chance card. Thank you all for tuning in. I'd like to tell everybody to please check out Bleacher Bunch Productions. Leave us a 5-star review, would you, over there? It helps our algorithm. We are literally not even findable as a podcast right now because we've switched our RSS feed. So, hey, won't you put us in the algorithms, like our videos, review our podcast,
Push all the buttons.
push all the buttons for us. It takes a second. I'd like to thank Fans First Network, which hosts the Bleacher Bunch Productions. They've got a ton of great sports podcasts for all your favorite teams, and our 109 Patreon supporters, especially you guys, Blake Beard and his magical tickets behind home plate, Rogue Wave Creative, Mike Waller and the Cubs PS Plus podcast, Matt Kammerer's Permanent Paintings, and In the Clutch shirts, these sponsors of our Patreon prize of the month. Find us all the places that podcasts can normally be found. Sun Ranto Show, Infield Fly Girl, Cubes Fan, Danny Rocket, coming at you. We got a website, sunranto.com. All sorts of magic for the people. So, but that's the show.
That's it.
That's the show. We are coming back to Wrigley, so I will play that song. And
let's do it.
As David Kaplan would say,
Spook Hog! Or go Cubs. Backwards.
Spagog.
Dog.
I'm coming back to Wrigley with a ticket in my hands. No ring upon my finger because I am just a fan. And I spent most of my money on sausages and beer. But I was there when they won it that year. A pressured anticipation had the city tightly wrought with a 5-3 combination as the sailing ball was caught. Half a dozen generations who would live to see the day the Cubs would take the season all the way. Now we're coming back to Wrigley. We're coming back to Wrigley, where the ivy will start growing and the April winds are blowing in today. The conquerors in triumph bring the foreign trophy home, like old Caesar on the Appian way back in ancient Rome, while the cities of the vanquished have to turn around and look as history's inscribed into the books. We're coming back to Wrigley. We're coming back to Wrigley. There'll be no talking losing while the bleacher bums are bruising by the flags.
Bye.